Hello everyone, this is Clossi, and I'm back with another Go video, and today I want to talk about the Clossi Go server and the updates that I have worked on this month. And for those of you who don't know, this is kind of my own personal hobby. I've been kind of working off and on for a little over a year now. And yeah, it's not a lot done, but I had to teach myself networking from scratch and teach myself coding, and it wasn't exactly a priority to do. It's just something I do for fun on the side because it's something I enjoy building. So if you guys want to check that out, watch this video and I'll share with you the updates that I have. And yeah, let's go through it. So it was called the Beginner Go server, and I was going to target this at beginners and make a server for helping beginners. However, I found that had a lot of limitations, and I didn't really want the limitations. I didn't want to just target just one audience. I wanted it to be something for everyone. So I am changing the name to the Clossi Go server simply because I want the freedom to take it whatever direction I want. So rather than calling it the Beginner Go server or a dojo or anything like that, I don't want to I don't want to limit it. I want to be able to do whatever I want with it. I want to be able to take whatever direction I want because I'm putting a lot of hours into it and a lot of effort. I want it to have what I want it to have. So I don't want to limit it to a certain niche or audience. So I did change it to the Clossi Go server to kind of give it that more freedom and open-ended feeling that I can take whatever direction I want. But what you're looking at here is actually what has already been released. This is the first test model that I had, first kind of prototype that I had that I released to get some feedback on, and I think it worked pretty well. It does allow you to technically play with other people. Ignore the version down here. This was just a sample version that I had to just connect to a server. It was just a sample input text, and I didn't take it out. It actually might be slightly different on here. This is the one that I was testing personally before I made a bunch of changes to it. Let's go ahead and log in and take you guys through it. So hopefully this is not too loud, but here's the audio. So you can actually play online with someone if you and a friend want to get on. You have to actually talk to someone probably because you're never going to find anyone online at the same time as you. But if you and a friend download it, you can actually play it and test it together if you want. So all this one does is play Capture Go. Let's actually get through. You can see that. So you can actually get on and play with a friend on this one, but since I'm waiting for the game to start, it pretty much won't work. There's probably a couple little bugs, and yeah, it says users too. It just hasn't refreshed properly. There's a couple little bugs that this one has that hasn't gotten fixed because it kind of broke stuff down and rebuilt it, which I'll explain in a bit. But what you can do if you just want to play by yourself, you can actually go in and play an AI. This AI is super low level. It was meant for absolute beginners just to teach them rules, so it's not very strong AI at all, and it doesn't have a lot of AI logic. It's just a step-by-step logical approach. Like the level 1 played like random, level 2 would save Ataris, level 3 would play in the group with lowest liberties, level 4 I think, I don't know, I don't remember. It doesn't really let you select a level on this one, unfortunately, simply because I was still testing some stuff, so I kind of just made it automatic just to get you in there and play. So we can go ahead and play an AI and show you what you can do right now. We'll play the fighter bot here. Yeah, and so this is actually released right now for everyone. Let's go here. So, yeah, this one's actually released for everyone, and that's pretty much all this one is just a Capture Go program that lets you play with other people and play against an AI. It's just a simple prototype. There are bugs. It's not an official release or anything like that. And so you can actually go to Clossius.itch.io, which for those who don't know, itch.io is just a kind of a developer place where you can post your games and code and stuff to get feedback. It's kind of like a free Steam, but not nearly as popular. So I do have other stuff on here, other programs if you want to try it out. The Beginner Go server is right here, so this is the one you can get. Which I'm not sure if this one has the AI or not. I'm pretty sure it does, but I forget if I added that before I released or after I release it. And I don't really have it anymore. So, yeah, I think it does. I think it does because 0.1.2. Simply because I kind of broke everything and yeah, we'll get to that. There is other stuff. These are some game jams that I did. Coding game jams. Flappy Animal. I made that for my wife. If you want to play like Flappy Bird with some cute animal faces. Rose vs Zombies. I kind of did that as a coding tutorial, and then I made it to where my sister is throwing my friend Jasper like at some zombies and stuff. It's cute and fun. Capture Go. If you wanted to play Capture Go against an AI, this one is kind of the prequel to this one. So this one has no networking; it just has an AI. So if you wanted to just play against an AI, if you were a beginner and just wanted to play some Capture Go, you could just download this one. And this one actually does have level like 1 to 5 AI. It's again not very strong. It goes to like 29Q maybe, 30Q to 29Q, but it's meant for complete beginners to learn Capture Go, and this is what this one was built for. So that was the starting one. So you can kind of if you look at this one and then go to this one, you can kind of see my development phases building up into playing Go in a 3D environment. Some other just quick mentions is the Go Hub. This is if you wanted to just have a central hub application. All this is just it opens a window and lets you select the Go server you want to play on, and then if you have it on your computer or wherever, it'll launch it for you. So you can launch TiJump, you can launch WBadug, you can launch OGS, launch KGS. You do have to have the programs downloaded in advance, but if you do, this should technically work for you. Ship Racer was probably one of the best games that I kind of made. It's the most complete, I think, aside from the Go server. I say the Go server. Go server is not complete. But this one is basically a ship, like it's a ship racing game where you just go down and dodge asteroids and try to get a high score. I do really like that. It's one of my favorites. Mystery Go the card game was something I attempted to try. All that is just some cards. So if you want to get on OGS and open up a 9x9, play with your friends, it's something you could try. It's just some cards to let you. It's something that was kind of inspired by like a crazy Go idea at Go Congress, where you drew cards and you had to do what the card said. And it could just like remove all the stones from the first line, or remove all the stones from the second line, or play a stone and every stone around that stone disappears. I just put a bunch of random ideas in this. And it can lead to some pretty crazy but really funny games, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I played it with some friends a couple times, and it was quite fun, but not really many people used it, so I don't know. I guess it wasn't that exciting, but yeah, if you wanted to try it out, you can do that out. Random opening generator. All this is just a program that you click a button and it'll tell you an opening to play, and it can give you a good opening, it can give you a crazy opening like black hole. So if you wanted to randomize your game a little bit and have some fun, you can do the random open generator. Write a summons was another game jam. Feel free to check that out if you want. Yeah, that's all that. But getting back to this is the update. This is where I'm at now. The Clossi Go server. Again, ignore the version. I'm not really doing proper version control at all. But yeah, this is where I'm at now. Let me actually pull up Trello so I can have a good idea about where I'm at and what I've implemented. Make sure I can tell you guys stuff. Trello for the Clossi Go server. I am using Trello on here. Feel free to follow this if you want to keep up to date. I'm trying to do this to keep some type of organization. It's not really perfect or anything. You can also follow some updates on the uh, like brain farting on the thing. The GitHub. Yeah, the GitHub. It is on there as well, but I'm not really sending the updates to GitHub until I do version releases. I'm doing it right here on Unity to keep up with my version control and my backups. And then once I do version releases, I'll probably upload those to GitHub simply because it'll be easier for people to report bugs and everything like that. So yeah, there's that. These are all the feature ideas that I have. My first milestone is just being able to play Go online. Like the other one did have Capture Go, and I kind of like took that out, which I still have the scripts for it, but the connections aren't there anymore. So I'm working on re-implementing everything and getting to Territory Go, so we can play Territory Go first, and then I'll add Capture Go, and then I'll add some other stuff as I go. So right now I do have the ability to log into a server with a username and join a room, which I'll explain what that is. playing a Go game with someone. I'm working on re-implementing the logic that I had, and then I have to add territory Go rules, and then have to display a result, and then I will be doing playtesting and debugging, which is where I'm going to release to some people and have them play it. If you want to be able to do that, join the Discord, Patreon, GitHub, or whatever. I'm going to pretty much be releasing it in those places in order to do playtesting, and then I'll have people give me feedback. Where are the bugs? What are the features that they would like to see? And yeah. Uh, so some of the things that I have right now is I reworked the GoBon logic, so we can go look at that. I made the whole scene try to look nicer. I reworked the GoBon logic in the sense that the GoBon was resizing to the scene, and or rather the scene was resizing to the Gobon, and I wanted the Gobon to resize to the scene. So I had to redo the logic of drawing the lines and drawing the star points and everything else. So we can actually go ahead and look at this as soon as it loads. The idea was to be able to use this Gobon object in multiple types of scenes, which will let me build different types of environments in 3D, and then just add the Gobon to it as an object, and it'll be that simple. So it'll be a lot easier to use when I do that. So let's go ahead and turn that off. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I did try to make the stones look a little bit prettier as well. You can pretty much click anywhere. There's no game logic implemented yet, and the sound is technically there, but the sound manager, you have to go from the first scene up to here. And I also added some different camera angles, so you can actually look around just by pressing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which I'll obviously hopefully add some how-tos and some directions on how to use these buttons. Yeah, this is kind of the scene right now. You can see the letters automatically twist around as well. So A1's right here, but when you turn it, A1's still right there. So the board doesn't technically turn with you, but the camera angles are there. And you can look around at different camera angles. You can play around with whichever view you want to start with, and then just go from there. This is the 3D environment. I know a lot of people have asked me about VR implementation, and I think VR would look really, really good in this. However, I do not have a VR, so I would have no way to test that. I would have no way to teach myself how to do that. So I have no way to actually implement that into this game at the moment. So yeah, VR would look really good, but it's not on my immediate to-do list, and probably won't be for a good minute unless I raised funds for VR, and then I would have to put in all the hours it would take to teach myself how to code in VR and then test it and everything else. It would be, in a sense, a nightmare, but I mean, this whole thing's technically a nightmare and trying to learn how all the logic and how to do it, but it'd also be a lot of fun. It would be really cool to have. So it's not like I'm not willing or not wanting to do it, but it's not something that's on like the top of the to-do list, and it won't be for a good minute, a good while, if ever, simply because I don't have it and I need to get it built and working before I even think about adding something like that. So yeah, this is where it's at right now. And what I meant about the board logic is the lines actually draw onto the board relative to the board size, rather than being relative to the world size. So I had to redo all the logic there, simply because it's going to be so much easier to build stages from here on out now that I reworked the logic of the Go board. Whereas before, I don't even know if this is kind of making sense to you, but hopefully it makes sense. Before, the board was a board size, and the world resized to the board, and then I needed to change it so I could build a world and add a board to it, and then resize the board to make it fit with the shape or size of the world. But when I do that, it would mess up the line drawing and everything else. So I had to redo all that logic, which kind of broke everything for a minute, but now I'm like implementing everything, and I think it looks really, really good, and it's so much easier to use now for future development. It'll be so much easier to build stuff and everything else. And this is kind of the camp scene that I have just starting out. I'm really looking forward to making some scenes, and if anyone has scenes that they would want to build in Unity, like, you didn't even need a lot of coding, honestly, for this. All you need to do is learn how to do some Unity objects. Honestly, you could teach yourself how to do this within a week, and then just get some assets, maybe get them Blender, build some stuff. And if you want to build scenes and put the Go board in the scene, it would be awesome. I would love to work with people on this. Probably I'm going to be the only one that has the ability to add stuff and take away stuff, simply because I did try working on a team and for some game jams, and I found it really hard to sync up scripts, um, and do the just keep everyone on the same version and stuff. It was a little bit of a nightmare, a little bit of a headache, and I didn't really enjoy the process. And since I'm doing this kind of for fun, I probably will keep control of it for a while until it gets to the point where I can't keep up with it, and then I'll start opening it up and have someone teach me how to do all that syncing up and stuff. So if you wanted to be part of this, you could easily work on a couple things, and then I could add it in myself. But I will be the one solely adding in stuff for at least a first little bit until I get something released and something built. So yeah, I would love some help on this, and would love some people to work with me on this, but I do want to keep control of the code at least for a while, simply because syncing stuff up is such a nightmare, and I didn't really enjoy or understand that process properly. But yeah, so this is where I'm at right now. A couple other things. So let me take you from the start to where I'm at now. I had a game lobby scene, which I think is much nicer. Also redid the artwork for a non-artist. I think it looks pretty good. I'm not an artist, so I tried to simplify it and take some free stock photos, and uh, I desperately need artists. I'm going to need those eventually, and once I get a working model, I will need to work on a business model type approach for the Clossi Go server. I want the server to be free, but I also want it to have the ability to generate funding, so I can pay an artist to make it look nicer. I can pay people to make 3D environments. I can hold tournaments or something. I just so many things I want to do with it. And it will need to be funded, and it will need funding stuff. So I will need to create a business model eventually for it, but I want the core stuff to be free, where you can just get on and play and have some features. I want all that stuff to be free. I think I'm going to take probably the Blizzard like approach, not in the sense that they're bad business practices or anything like that, but rather they have in-game currency where you can buy like skins, and you can buy like more characters, or something like that, and some type of approach like that, so I can still generate funding, but at the same time you can still play the game without it. You can still unlock stuff without it, and you can still do everything for free, and that's perfectly fine. But if you wanted to support, you could, or support future developments or support the financial of the server, then I want to have a way for people to do it too. So yeah, let's go ahead and walk through this. Some of the directions I want to take this. So I need. Oh, yeah. I do need to start thinking about a theme, and my wife and I were discussing that. And the theme I think I want to take is probably. Oh, close that. That should be off by default. It's supposed to be off by default. Bugs. The approach that I want to take is probably I want to make it some type of fantasy. I think a lot of people, Go players, particular, a lot of Go players. Sorry, speaking before thinking. A lot of Go players, I think, would enjoy a type of fantasy. I know a lot of people came in from like a Karo no Go approach. A lot of people play other type of RPG type games, and I thought fantasy would reach the most audience. I may do a poll over this later. I may get some more ideas and just do a poll, or take some surveys and stuff. But right now, the idea that we're having is maybe making some. Yeah, and then you can create a room. Maybe making some type of a fantasy approach, where you can have fantasy characters that you can unlock and buy items or get items for, and get in-game currency for playing games, or maybe purchase in-game currency, and then you can buy hats and items or voices and stuff for your characters. That way the core of the game is still free and the core of the game is still functional. But if you want to support the server, or you want to just level up your character to a super max thing by playing on the server a ton, you can show off all these cool maybe things that you have. And yeah, I think that's an idea that we're having, that we're kind of jumbling around in our heads. That's an idea that I'm thinking about, simply because it's a 3D environment. Why not have 3D characters playing Go? I think look really cool. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But at the same time, I have to be careful because I don't want to take away from the feel of Go. I don't want to I don't want to take away from I'm playing a Go game and trying to improve and everything else. So I have to really think about the feel of it, but also I have to think about some type of theme because I want my server to have some type of game theme. I want it to have some type of theme of what type of feel you get. So that's an idea I have, and I would love to hear your comments on that. I did some other ideas. I was thinking about having humans and different outfits and stuff, but I didn't know if I could do that or not, especially with modeling and whatnot. I also had the idea of do a martial artist, but I thought fantasy would be more relatable and fun than martial artist, having like ninja versus a samurai or something. I think it'd be cool, but I think having it more fantasy, where you could be like having a human warrior and an elf, maybe be a goblin or a dragon or something like that. I think it'd be a lot more fun than having just martial artist. So, I mean, these are just ideas that I'm having, and like I said, that's why I named it the Clossi Go Server, so I could take it in so many different directions and test it out and get feedback and everything. But that's going to be a little bit further down the line. Right now, I'm just working on getting it functionable. But the reason I'm thinking about that is because I want to make sure that it's functional in a sense that it can grow. So I had to rework the foundation and everything. So yeah, this is where we're at now. I did remove the AI for now. I still have the AI scripts, but I did disconnect the AI, and I had a tutorial, and I disconnected the tutorial simply because I needed to rework this from the ground up in order to um, be able to expand it in various directions and have a better foundation. So that's what I have now. So I did make the menu scene, which, oh, sorry, not the menu scene, the game lobby scene, which I think is going to be a little bit better than what I was doing. So the way the rooms work, bear with me while I try to explain networking to people who probably don't know how to code. But the way rooms work, so let's say when you connect to a server, you connect into the nothingness that is the server, and then you are immediately redirected and connected to the lobby, which is where everyone sits, where you pretty much are going to start out, and then you're going to look for a room. And then rooms are created by individuals. So you can create a room, and then it creates a room in the server, and you join that room, and you're technically the master client, but let's not worry about that. You just join the room, and you wait for someone else to join, and you guys can play in that room. And when you guys leave the room, then the room gets destroyed. This is in code, of course. So what I was doing is in the lobby, I would join a random room, and if you couldn't find one, then you would just create your own room. This is great for a small server who wants to just play as fast as possible, but it's not really great if you're wanting people to have like custom rules and stuff like that. And yeah, you could do play with custom rules, but then you could have a wait time, and I didn't want people to just sit in front of the scene and just not know what they're waiting on, or just be sitting there and waiting and not looking at anything. So I kind of created this room lobby, or this game lobby. So technically, you're still in the lobby in this scene, but what you can do is create your own room manually. And this doesn't join a random room. This just creates a room, and then you wait. So you can create it with whatever rule set you want, which I'll add. Right now, it just creates a room. And you just join that room and you wait for someone to join. And then as rooms are created, it'll actually populate a list right here. And then you can see the username right now, and eventually you'll be able to see the rules, the type, and everything else, maybe the scene. Um, and you'll be able to just click a join button and just join that specific room. This does have some pros and cons, though. The pros is you will be able to see as rooms are created, or if you don't want to wait on someone, you can just come back and join someone else's. If you don't like what you see, then you can just create your own and wait for someone else. So it gives you more control over what rooms you're in and what rooms you're joining. But at the same time, it does give a little bit more of a bias. So let's say you want to create a room. Well, maybe people don't want to play you specifically, and they see someone else and they just want to play higher levels or certain scenes or something like that. Then instead of prioritizing the room creation order, which means you join the oldest room first, is what I had. Where you join the random room, so it finds the random room, so it goes to the rooms oldest to newest, and just joins the first room it finds. And if it doesn't find one, it creates one in order to get games as fast as possible. This one, you could join whichever one you want, So it potentially could have people waiting longer than others, even though it's not. It takes out the first come first serve or first create first get. Instead, it creates a more favoritism approach. But at the same time, this is what most other servers use, and it also gives you more control, more flexibility, and makes people get what they want more. So it has its pros and cons. But this is the approach I have right now. And if it doesn't work, then maybe I'll just set up some type of auto, like I know people set up auto matches and stuff, so I could easily set up an auto match feature and just put that join random room with conditions on, and we could simply set up an auto match eventually as well, which should be pretty easy to do. I mean, that's the whole reason I reworked it and reskinned it, was to set up a better foundation. So auto match should be easy enough to implement, but this little customizable thing is what I got right now in order to let you see what rooms exist and what people are playing and yada yada. So yeah, this is where I'm at right now. I think I mentioned everything I wanted to mention. Here's another scene that I'm looking at where you're in space. This one is not working right now, but this is just an example of other scenes you could potentially have and create, where you're playing Go in space in the atmosphere. And I think this Earth actually spins. Yeah. You see all the errors. This is actually, yeah, this is the max size Go board that I have, that I allow. It's 31 by 31. So you can go, I think, from 3 by 3 or 5 by 5. I think it's either 3 by 3 or 5 by 5. I forget what I did, but I have a minimum and then I have a maximum, and I put the maximum at 31 by 31 because after this it gets a little much. It's not impossible, but it definitely gets quite a bit difficult to see the stones and everything else. So this is just another scene I'm looking at. I did test 101 by 101, and I'll show you guys that because unfortunately you won't be able to see it otherwise. And it technically works. The only thing is the coordinates don't, because I don't have a catch for going past the maximum coordinate, which is twice the alphabet, which you'll see in a second. So yeah, the alphabet does stop because I only double letters, and you can see that it's actually really hard to see. Now this is something I could potentially add in the future. This is why I set it up this way, of course. Whereas if you take a camera and you zoom in, so let's take the above cam, and let's go 6. Let's go 4. So yeah, you could potentially zoom in and see what you're doing. 0. Oh, let's do negative 0.5. So yeah, potentially you could zoom in. Potentially you could have cameras that are like really close, and then you could go in and fight these little battles and then zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in. And I could potentially have that in the future, and that could be a lot of fun, but right now it's not a priority. I'm wanting to get the functionality working. And you can see the invisible stones don't actually work properly. Oh, it looks like on this line it just doesn't work. I don't know. Bugs. You do things that it's not supposed to do, and you get bugs. And then, like, let's zoom back out. So let's do, I think it was 7 and -1. Yeah, and there you go. It's 101 by 101. Looks really silly, looks really crazy, but I mean, it's technically something I could add in the future, and that's again why I reworked everything from the ground up, is to potentially be able to do whatever I wanted with this. And if people voted on this as a feature in the future, let's say the server got popular or something, you wanted to vote on new features, this is something I could have implemented later as a feature and stuff. So this would be really crazy. I think people are insane if you're going to play 101 by 101. This would take like all day, like 8 hours to 10 hours just to play a move in like 10 to 20 seconds a move. I don't even know how many moves this is. 101 times 101, or how many intersections this is. For funsies. 101 divided, or times 101 is 10,201 intersections. Let's see, 181 takes about 30 minutes, so let's divide that by 0.5. So, no, I'm not doing that right. Let's do 181. So let's do 0.5 divided by 181. That's about a quarter of a millisecond. I don't know if I'm doing that right. And then What was that? 101 times 101. So 10,201. Let's do 3.5. About that. So I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing the equation wrong. I don't know. How long does the average move take and go, and then multiply that by 10, by the board size, or how long so if a game of 181 intersections lasts approximately 30 to 40 minutes, how long does 10,000 intersections last? How long would it take someone to play this game? Hopefully, maybe someone can post that in the comments below. Oh, I messed up that equation so bad. I'm not a math guy. I'm a code guy. I can do addition and subtraction. That's only because I need to count territory. Um, yeah, so a lot of stuff. I want to show you guys this room. Don't say that. This is another room idea, but the lighting isn't working at the moment. So we can get in here. These are just things I've played with the Go Server. See the candles. The candles are technically lighting up, but it's not lighting up properly. So directional light. This is a little bit spooky. The lighting definitely needs to be fixed, but this is like kind of a library. Let's move this down to 1. No, 0. Nope, that's just not doing anything. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of lighting problems in here, but I was thinking that maybe I could potentially have a go board like right over here. And there's a chandelier in the floor. That's fun. Have a go board like right here. So this would be one of the views, and then you could have a view like right here, and then a view like right here, and I think that's another bookshelf over there. And yeah, these are just things that I can do, and then you have like chandeliers with candles. And once you get the lighting fixed, it would pretty much be candlelight in here. So kind of an orangish type of glow, and maybe some sunlight. I'm not sure. Yeah, you can kind of see that that's what it looks like. And then of course you put a sky and everything else. Yeah, so you can kind of see the bookshelves over here. They'd be full of books. So yeah, these are basically scenes that you can create scenes, rooms, environments, and then just put a go board in it. And then all you have to do is just have the name of the scene, and people can just join that scene and play go in it. And I think it's such a really cool idea, really awesome idea to be able to just have all these different scenes, all these different environments that you can play go in. And I think it'd be really cool. Like play go in the mountains, play go in space, play go on in the stars, play go in a library, play go on a boat, play go in a dojo, play go at a campsite. You can do all this stuff, and I think this is like kind of the direction I want to take it. But again, I wanted to think about like what themes do I want? So what theme ideas do I want? And that's why I was leaning towards fantasy. I think this would be a really great fantasy one. Can you imagine like maybe a dragonoid type person playing maybe a goblin in a go game in here? I mean, I think it'd be really cool. I think it'd just be really fascinating. As for things that some other ideas I was thinking about, maybe you guys can help me with, is I don't know if I want to chat in the rooms. I don't know if I want you to be able to talk to the opponent, because I think it can be very distracting, unless it's a demo, of course. If it's a demo and you're discussing things or reviewing things, then yeah, of course have chat. But if you're just playing a game, I don't know if I want chat. I don't know if you need it. Do want to have the greetings, but at the same time, maybe I can make the greetings automatic. So maybe you can unlock certain greetings with your characters. So maybe a goblin says, have a good game or something, or maybe something in goblin speak, or I'm going to murder you this game, or something like that, right? And maybe you can unlock different opening speeches and closing speeches, or opening sounds and closing sounds, and maybe the sounds play at the start and maybe the sounds play at the end of the game. But during the game, maybe you can't really do anything to like annoy your opponent, like yell at them, spam them. I know there was one that has like have a good game and whatnot. I think it's not Go, it's another game. I can't remember, but it would you just Hearthstone. That's what it was. It was like greeting. You clicked on your character and you could do a greetings, you could do a thanks for the game type thing. But then in the middle of the game, you'd have people saying thanks for the game after they pulled off a mega combo, pretty much saying I've won to the player. And I think it's a little bit rude, and I really want to emphasize the Go etiquettes and kind of prevent the rudeness. I really don't want to have the rudeness and the uh, flame wars going on during the game. I want the games to be like peaceful and engaging, fun, and I want the feeling of the game to be like I'm playing a Go game in this really cool environment and very like zen, I guess, zen, happy, exciting. But I don't really want the angry feelings. I don't want to really want the attacking feelings. And I think that would be a great way to do it. And let me know what you guys think. What would you guys like to see in these 3D environments? What direction would you guys like to see this go? My goals for it is to let people go in, play Go in all these really cool environments. Let me talk about some other directions that I want to go, and that is feature ideas. So I already talked to you about the theme ideas, but the feature ideas is I want Territory Go, One Color Go, Blind Go. And how would that work is basically the stone graphics for One Color Go would all be black stones or all be white stones. Pretty obvious. But Blind Go, the stone graphics just wouldn't exist. All you would see is the last stone played. And you just have to remember where they are. I have played this on a hacked KGS client before, and it's so much fun. It's really hard, but it's so cool. Um, and so all you see is like when you click on the board, all you see is the last move. No other moves. The moves still exist in code, and the moves are still there, but you can't see them. And I think that's such a cool idea. And that's something that it's very easy to implement. I'm surprised other Go servers haven't done it. It's super easy. All you do is change the stone graphics. It's in code. It's like one line of code when someone toggles a switch. It's super easy, but no one else has done it. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. Forget that. Um, Another one is I want to eventually hire someone to hook up an OGS script and a IGS script, so you can actually use these environments to play on OGS, and actually use these environments to play on PandaNet or IGS as well. I've heard that's actually not difficult to do. I just can't do it myself because it's different languages and different stuff. This some other stuff I want to add. I want to add a tutorial so people can play against a basic bot AI and potentially have some low-level bots for them to play against in a tutorial way for them to learn the rules of Go, maybe learn some strategies. So I still want to have that beginner friendliness, but in the tutorial section, not really in the main game section. Custom game settings, timers, blind Go. I want you to be able to play Capture Go. I wanted people to be able to select the rule sets to be Capture Go, maybe, and maybe also have Rengo. Well, not also have. I definitely want to have Rengo, but also have like maybe 3v3 Rengo, where you have 3 people on a team versus 3 people on a team, and each person rotates, and maybe even go up to like 4v4. I think beyond that would be a little taxing, a little difficult to pull off because it's already 8 people. Then I also want to have multicolor Go, which is also really, again, easy to implement in code. It just takes some time, where you can have more than just 2 players or more than just 2 colors playing the game. You can have black, white, and blue, or black, white, blue, and green. Or you can just take out black and white altogether. It'd be like blue, green, red, and purple or something, right? You can have all these different colors. And I actually did test this with my Go Club on, I think, not this last birthday, but the birthday before. So in 2018, I tested this. We had 8 people. So we played multicolored Go Ringo. So we had 2 people per color, and we had 4 colors. That was one of the most fun games I've played. We had everyone from like a 20Q up to like a Fordon in the room, and we were all playing the same game and having an exciting time. All levels were having fun, and no one knew who was going to win. It was such a crazy game. It's so much fun. If you can play with a Go Club, I highly recommend it. It's so much fun. And that's something I want to add here is maybe multicolor Go. Maybe you have 3 colors on the board or 4 colors on the board. Maybe you can have Ringo per color, but at the same time, it's multicolors. I mean, all these different Go variants ideas I eventually want to try to implement. And these are the directions that I'm wanting to take the Go server, and I think it'd be phenomenal to have a Go server where you can play in a 3D environment and it looks pretty, and then you can play all these Go variants and still also play on the Go servers that you know and love. I don't know about KGS because that one's a little bit difficult to connect to, and TiGem unfortunately doesn't have it. I really wish I could connect to TiGem or Foxway Chi, but I'll have to settle with IGS because that's the simplest one to connect to. But the fact that you can actually play in these 3D environments, potentially play on a Go server, and potentially you could have a switch where you could play one color Go on that Go server, or blind Go on that Go server, or play in a certain environment as a dragon or something on that Go server. I mean, I think it would be really, really cool. And then also you can also play locally on the server as well, against other people. So I think it has a lot of potential. It could do really, really well, and potentially even become VR later in the future. And I have so many directions I want to take this, but it is a lot of work and a lot of hours, and I am doing this in my free time as a hobby. If you guys wanted to get with me on this, again, search me on Discord. Send me a message on Discord. I would love to have some help with this. Maybe some like 3D models, OGS connection scripts. I'm definitely going to need help with the OGS connection scripts and the IGS connection scripts. Eventually, once I start raising money for this, I'm probably going to hire someone to do that for me. Graphics artist, if you want to create graphics for the environments and stuff. Players, oh my gosh, I'm going to so need help with creating player models and player animations. I'm going to need a ton of help with that. But if people can get me that stuff, it should be hopefully easy enough to implement on the server once it's up and running and everything. And then I'll also need a bunch of playtesters to playtest it and show me bugs and stuff once I get the version released. I'm almost to the next. Next version. Right now, all I have left for this specific version to start testing is to implement the rules. Let me pull up Trello, actually. So I've already got some basic sounds. I do want to add a couple more sounds, but I have the matchmaking scene. Letters, numbers, 3D stage, multiple camera views. Yeah, I have all that implemented, and you can actually join the room, and someone else can join the room too. I've already tested this, and if someone has a room, you can easily join it. I've already tested that and made sure it works. I definitely need to debug it and find all the stuff that breaks, but right now the basics of it does work, and it's almost ready for testing. All I have left to do is set up the rules of the game, and then set up the win conditions, and then conclude the game. So what that means is when whose turn is it, set up the player turns, so whose turn is it, how many players are in the room, and then I have to set up the Liberty counting script. I have to reconnect that. That's already created. Let me know if you guys want to see the scripts and stuff in another video. I would love to. I would happy to share that in another video. But I have to reconnect the Liberty scripts to make sure the stones get captured, and then I have to write a win condition, and the win condition needs to change from if something's captured to when both players, or game over condition, both players pass. And then I have to create a territory counting script, which should be difficult because I already have the Liberty counting script, and it's pretty much the exact same thing, surprisingly. You just count the null spaces, or the spaces without stones, rather than counting the stones of a certain color. You just count of stones of no color, and then you count that, and then if every single stone touching it is of one color, then that color gets that many points. It's not too difficult. It won't be too difficult to implement. The difficult part will be marking the dead stones, honestly. So I have to mark the dead stones, and that one's going to be a little tricky, but hopefully doable. And then after that, I have to create a game over scene, and then the last step after that will be the menus, like toggling sound, checking the controls, menu resign button, and all this other just some menus, and then it'll be ready for playtesting, and then I get the fun job of debugging. Yeah, that's the update on the OGS on my hobby. This is actually the scene. Ignore that. That's just the UI. That's just how it loads in the scene. So yeah, this is it. This is the camp scene. And if you look up, there's stars and stuff. Technically, there's no ground, but this is the camp scene. Now, let me know what you guys think. Hopefully, if you made it to the end of this video, props to you. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know let me know in the comments below what you guys would like to see, or just your thoughts in general. Yeah, this is it. The Clossi Go Server build. Let's get a good angle. And then we'll close out the video. So yeah, as always, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This is just another update video. Not really a lot of Go knowledge specifically, but I mean, this is just an update video. Hopefully you guys liked it. But yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you guys